The evening, produced by Albert Stevenson and directed by Michael Leeds, featured performances by the likes of Roberta Flack, Ben Vereen, Julie Halston, Sam Harris, Renee Fleming, Dr. Ruth Westheimer, Billy Stritch, Liz Smith, and Cheetah Rivera.
Oh, I'm a star.
And the audience loves her.
And I love the audience. And the audience loves me for loving them. And I love the audience for loving me. And we just love one another. That's because none of us got enough love in our childhood.
That's right.
I'm that showbiz kid.
Oh, yeah. She's giving up her humdrum life.
I'm gonna be sad.
Roxy.
Her spirit, her genuine, charitable, that's not really the word, what's a bigger word? She's so giving, you know, she will give you herself, and that's what she's done her whole career, and we've watched her give 200%. She's like 15 people all in one, and each person gives their heart and soul, and when somebody cares that much for you, then it's an awful lot to love, you know. And she's like a fantastic friend. I've never in my life ever heard Liza say anything terrible about anybody. You know, she just is a good soul. So I hope she'll laugh tonight. You know, it's going to be fun because she'll be close to the stage, you know, and I'll be able to see her. And you know, you really want to do a whole show for her, is what you want to do, you yourself.
Sure.
But I'm just happy I'm in town to do this because she's really one of the good, wonderful friends in my life.
Because you were there.
Inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
You were there for her comeback.
Yep.
Opening night of Minnelli on Minnelli. Wasn't that exciting?
Oh my God, we were all off the floor. We were all levitating, you know, and everybody had these grins on their faces. Nobody any more than Liza. She was just like, I am so happy to be here. And we were like, we are so happy you're here. Because that's where she belongs, you know, and we've missed her, you know, when she hasn't been right there. I can never get enough of Liza.
So tell me the numbers that you're doing tonight.
I'm doing The World Goes Round and A Quiet Thing. And of course, John and Fred are sitting right there, and I'm like, but it's going to be fun. I'm so thrilled to do this. She's my best friend, and I'm thrilled to do it.
Now, we talked opening night of Minnelli on Minnelli, and everybody was on this wonderful cloud. What was that whole experience like for you now that the Broadway run is behind you and you're getting ready to go on the road?
Well, I ain't going anywhere. She's got all the work to do. It was an extraordinary experience. I mean, it started months before, you know, when she was putting it together, and Cheetah Rivera is making faces behind you.
Doesn't get any better than that either, does it?
Not really. It is family, isn't it? It was crazy. It was wonderful. It was putting all this stuff together, and me getting to, of course, not only work with my friend, but also with Fred, you know, and the wonderful cast and Billy, and it was great. And I was there through most of the run. I had to go away for a minute, but I was there through most of it because things were always sort of changing and stuff. But it was an extraordinary experience for me. I learned so much. And it was also just a real emotional experience for me because I got to work with...
What was great for us also is, I believe, when you were in The Life, I think the first time she got up on stage again in front of a live audience to sing was with you after performance. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Wow. Well, she'd practically been living at the theater because she was in my dressing room more than I was, actually. And so it was actually the day after the Tonys, when I had lost the Tony, and the show had lost the Tony, right? And so Liza calls and she goes, we need to do something about this, because Cy's an old friend, and I was a friend. And she goes, why don't we get a little publicity and turn it back to the show and you and da-da-da. Even though my colleague, Chuck, had won it, and he was in the live too, but it was a celebration for everything. So she came to the theater, and it was very funny because she came literally before curtain. So she hung out in the dressing room. We didn't know what we were going to sing. We sort of talked about it, and then I would come up for fast change, and she'd say, okay, let's do this. And I'd say, well, what about doing this? It was so ridiculous. So then she came up on the stage after the curtain, and we did Use What You've Got from the show, and it was a ball.
Do I look good?
You look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. I clean up, you know. If you'd seen me 2 hours earlier, you know, I always have the gay SWAT team come over and construct. I'm hours under construction just to look like this, but it works, so.
Well, you can tell you look great, but it's great to have that in the background, isn't it?
It definitely, it really is. And I'm excited about tonight. You know, it's a starry night. You know, there are stars here. There are some genuine, you know, sort of legendary figures. And of course, Liza herself is a genuine legend. So it is nerve-wracking because you want to be extra good, you know.
But I know she's a dear friend of yours. What do you admire the most about her?
She is, and I'm going to actually talk about this a little, you know, in my little act. She's very gracious. You know, she's gracious to press, she's gracious to fans, she's gracious to friends, strangers. She has good manners. You know, there are many talented people in the world. She's, you know, a quadruple threat. I mean, she can do it all. But the bigger they are, the more gracious. And unfortunately, mediocrity does rule, you know, our media waves now. But she never was like that. She always gave 120%, and she always was mannered. And I think that came from that Hollywood system. I hate to say, I mean, not that I loved the studio system, not that I know anything about it, but they did have that kind of training. You just, you know, you had good manners, you were polite. And I really admire that about her. That's what a real star is.
Lights with the sleep, not Lisa with an S, cause Lisa with an S goes nuts. It's into the best, it's lines to the please. It's amazing Liza, then M and double N and E double I. Double up the end, that's not new. E double E L and you end up with an I, and that's what you say. Minnelli, Liza Minnelli. It's easy, it's easy, it's lazy. Now, Liza!
Comes away, shine it on, shine it on. Morning news brings the blues, shine it on, shine it on. Just dismiss it, boo and hiss it, crack it and parenthesis it. That's the way you shine it on.
Oh, I think she has the most magnificent courage and heart. And she's never done a bad thing to anybody in her life. She's a really good person, and she's made an incredible comeback. How many people do you know who ever lost their voice and couldn't sing anymore ever really came back? She's like almost unique.
And there's a fine plus, 'cause there is all of us deep in the heart of my love.
And let me say, I'm proud. John Simon's not allowed.